Hey, you! Before you watch this, pause the video and subscribe to SemiPro right now.
What's going on YouTube? Ryan back again with another video, and today we're switching it up a little bit because frankly I'm running out of ideas. So I gotta get a little creative. Today I'm telling the story of what happened to Jordan Lynch. In 2012, Lynch single-handedly put not only himself but Northern Illinois on the map. And then in 2 years, both vanished just as quickly as they came. Don't get me wrong, NIU is still good, but they're nowhere near in the national limelight that they had with Lynch at the helm. Let's start Lynch's story in high school. He attended the illustrious Mount Carmel, and he wasn't the greatest high school quarterback. He was only 36th as far as dual threat QBs go in his class, which is just good enough to get an offer to a mediocre MAC school. His first 2 seasons at NIU, Lynch backed up Chandler Harnish, who actually had a more successful career than Lynch. But, shh, let's not tell him that. At NIU, as a starter, Lynch was electric, particularly because he was in the MAC, but also because he was talented. He had an innate ability to escape any tackle and outrun any defender, and he got recognition for it. The way I look at him is a poor man's Johnny Manziel. Come to think of it, a poor man's Johnny Manziel is just Johnny Manziel. Didn't think of that one. Lynch ran the ball more than Johnny Football did, but they did have very similar styles of play. Lynch was the most popular player in college football, being touted as the People's Heisman winner. And in 2012, Lynch threw for over 3,100 yards and rushed for 1,800. And then the next year, he threw for 2,900 yards and rushed for 1,900. Like, what? That is insane. It's the most absurd stat line I've ever seen. I don't care who you're playing against. I could play a season versus my 10-year-old cousin's flag football team, and I still couldn't put up that stat line. Lynch got his due as well, coming in 7th and 3rd in the Heisman voting in 2012 and 2013 respectively. He then led NIU both years, where he had 12-game winning streaks at one point in the season, both in 2012 and 2013. His first year, Lynch led NIU to a 12-1 record after the regular season and earned the Group of 5 New Year's 6 bid, with a spot in the Orange Bowl to face off against Florida State. But then Lynch started feeling himself a little bit and got way too cocky, and he came out and started chatting shit about FSU, stating, "In the fourth quarter, we plan to have them on their knees. And they're human too. If you cut them, they will bleed." I love the swagger, don't get me wrong, but you have to back it up. NIU got clapped, losing 31-10. Then, next season, NIU was 12-1 again headed into bowl season. But this time, they only got to the Poinsettia Bowl against Utah State, and they lost that one too. So the success wasn't there for Lynch in the postseason. In 2012, he graduated from NIU and went to the NFL draft, but he went undrafted. Keep in mind, this is right after he finished 3rd in the Heisman. That almost never happens where a Heisman finalist isn't taken at any point in the NFL draft. He was brought in as an undrafted free agent for the Chicago Bears, but they wanted him to transition to running back, which didn't exactly work because Chicago's backfield was pretty nice, with Matt Forte and Kadeem Carey. So Lynch was cut prior to the season, but he wasn't done playing, so he signed with the Edmonton Eskimos of the CFL, where he won the Grey Cup. Granted, he was only a backup. He didn't really get that much playing time in the Canadian Football League and retired in 2017. He then went back to NIU as a running backs coach for a season and then went back to his alma mater, Mount Carmel High School, where he took over for legendary head coach Frank Lenti. And Lynch is still the coach there. Just recently, he led his team to a state championship, while his younger brother Justin, who is a 3-star QB committed to Temple, whose recruiting numbers look very eerily similar to his brother. So, Lynch looks like a good coach, and maybe if his brother can carry on the legacy, the Lynch family story isn't over just yet.